I'm going to make a recording to give you some feedback about your index of activities assignment so that I'm hoping it will be helpful for you. So, this first activity is probably going to be a lot of really fun for the kids to kick the ball and all of that. Um, I would be careful with this activity because it's really not appropriate for 3 year olds. 4 year olds and 5 year olds, I think it's okay for them. I noticed that you got this from Fun Learning for Kids, which I was unfamiliar with, so I went to the website. And I would just caution you about that website because much of what they have on there is really not appropriate for early childhood. Please go back into the general resources, and the resources there are examples of appropriate things. So to modify this to make it appropriate, you could just have the stack of cups with letters on them and let the kids play with them. Anyway, I don't have any problem with the balls and the cups. I mean, those are very appropriate for young children. That's wonderful. Just like I say, be careful of the Fun Learning for Kids. And then on your goals and standards, you have improved letter ID, but that is not from the Kentucky Standards site. So when you get a job, chances are they will require you to write that up. So I just want to make sure that you've gone into the Kentucky Standards and you know how to use them and what they are. So I'm going to let you go back in and find them for these activities and then make some changes to the activity to make it more early childhood friendly, knowing that this really wouldn't be for a 3 year old could do the ball and the kicking and the cups and all that, but it's really the letter identification piece for 3 year olds. You just want to be careful with that. In terms of this accommodations, the issue with them struggling with letters and all of that, we're not really assessing and testing them to see if they know them. These are just activities to let them have experiences with them. We're not trying to teach them something when they don't know it in the activity. So I'm a little concerned just making sure you know that. I'm not saying, I don't want you to feel like I'm saying that's what you're doing, but the way it reads, it sounds like if a child is struggling with knowing the letter, then you would do something else so they would make sure they could identify the letter. And really, within one activity, you're not doing that. You're not assessing. You just let them have these experiences over and over and over again. And over time, you'll see that they, start to recognize certain letters. But that can take years in early childhood. So I just want to be really careful about that. And we're studying the alphabet in the next 2 weeks, like this week and next week for content. So maybe that will help you change this a little bit. Just be really careful. Anyway, it's just a little bit of a caution. The crocodile circle, again, just be really careful about them being expected to know letters at age 3 or even age 4, and for some kids even age 5. It would be more appropriate if when they pull the letter out, the whole class says the letter or you say the letter. That would be really cute. It's a great activity. Just be careful about them being expected to know the letter. Anyway, that's all I'll say about that. It's pretty much the same thing I just said about the other activity. For math, this is for 3 to 5 year olds, and um, matching games are great as long as they do some one-to-one correspondence. And again, we are going to talk about math coming up, so I'm just going to leave that there, and you can, if you want to make any changes in that once we do the math part, that's fine. Shaving cream. um, I know lots of centers use shaving cream. We used to use it when I taught a long time ago. Just be really careful, um, because that has fragrance and chemicals in it. I would prefer they did something else other than shaving cream, and I think right now we need to look at changing that. So I'm going to ask you to just research some other possibilities just to be on the safe side, because shaving cream is, I shouldn't have been using it when I was using it as a teacher. It's really not good, actually, for kids' skin and their eyes and all of that. And there are other substances we can use that have the same effect that don't involve all of those problems. So just be aware of that. Um, and balloon tag is lots of fun. Yeah, that's great. Um, so this one is do-it-yourself puzzles. Um, yeah, this is fine for older kids, but it's really not appropriate for early childhood to have kids draw lines and then cut up the paper. They really just need to. They can having experiences where they cut up paper is appropriate. So if you just want to have a cutting activity here and change it to where you're just going to have paper and markers out and scissors and let them create whatever they want. Um, so I would like you to rethink that one a little bit. It's not age appropriate for them to do a painting or a drawing and then cut it out and make a puzzle. They really don't have the cognitive ability to think about how pieces fit together that way intentionally. So I'd like you to rethink that and put that back together again in a different, just having the materials. Um, and yeah, this found object sculpture is lots of fun. That's an example of where you just putting out material and letting them do stuff with it. Be careful about calling it a sculpture or that they have to make something. Just put the materials out and let them do what they will with it. They do not need to create something. Just let them experiment and play with the items. And if they're older, they might create something. Just be really careful with that. Also, remember 3 and 4 year olds are just learning to use glue and work with it. So just be careful with that. Uh, so painting rocks, yeah, that's always a fun activity. And, having it be open ended like that is really good. Um, Water painting is fantastic. And I would say I'm a little confused here where you say real life simulation toys, such as fake kitchen books, stuffed animals. I'm not clear because real life pieces, like a real child sized broom, for example, would be appropriate. Um, I'm not sure what you're role playing here. Um, and it's really definitely not appropriate to do risky social scenarios like cops and robbers shouldn't even be in our early childhood vocabulary. So I'm not sure about this one. I'd like you to redo it and rethink it a little bit. It's not quite ready yet for this. um, and in terms of this last activity, Yeah, that's fine to play Simon Says and Red Light, Green Light and all of that. So yeah, that's actually a really good one. So I hope this has been helpful to you. The way I'm going to mark your assignment is I usually put not yet in the rubric, and I'm going to give you a couple of weeks to look at the reading and literacy and the math especially, and redo that, and then redo some of these and resubmit them. And then be sure you've got the state standards in here, because that is what the course is asking for. And that'll be really important. Let me know if you need any help with that. I put the state standards in the general resources space, so hopefully that'll be helpful. Okay, so you've got a lot of good stuff in here, it just needs some tweaking, is my bottom line.